Hi homeschoolers, it's me Jazz again here from Hidden Library Homeschool, and I'm back with more of my second graders curriculum. I think after this I probably only have maybe one more video with his electives, but in this one I'm just going to show you what we'll be using for language arts. So first up, every other Monday we start out with one of Aesop's Fables, and this is lumped into our language arts since last year in first grade we used the morals to the fables as part of our handwriting practice. I don't think we're going to be doing it with handwriting this year since I have an extra handwriting workbook, but we still do the fables as, I guess, more of a character education. This is from Dover Children's Thrift Classics, and it has some small black and white illustrations in it. Also from Dover, we have Aesop's Fables for Children. This book is bigger, has a little bit of color to the illustrations, and it came with a listening CD. We also listened to some of the fables on both storynori.com and Lit2Go, which I will link below because we have used those so much within our homeschooling. We really like both of those free websites with their audiobooks and all the stories that they have on there that we listen to online. Our favorite version of Aesop's Fables that we have is from Junior Classics for Young Readers, Fables for Children. And this also has black and white illustrations. But the language is just a little bit easier for younger kids to understand. It's a little bit more modern. But the main reason I like this one over some of the other books that we have is because last year when we were doing handwriting practice, I had them, writing everything out. And I just like that this uses the word donkey instead of the other word, which, my son knows what the other word is. He knows the proper use for it. But when he was writing it every day, I didn't want him writing, some words that could be used improperly as some choice words. So we use this version for mainly as our Aesop book. So instead of using the fables and the morals for handwriting practice, we have from Scholastic cursive writing practice jokes and riddles. And my son is at what I would call the silly sevens. I noticed this even when I was babysitting kids years ago. At about 7 years old, it seems like they really developed their sense of humor. Everything's funny, everything's a joke. So I thought he'd have fun making his own little joke book as he is practicing cursive. We also have for cursive practice, daily handwriting practice, contemporary cursive, and this just has some short little assignments for them to do every day. We used the modern manuscript version of this last year. For handwriting in kindergarten, I didn't require him to write anything. From time to time, he might write, maybe an answer in math, but even that was pretty much done orally. And then the summer between kindergarten and first grade, I had him practice his modern manuscript alphabet and also some short words so that in the beginning of first grade, he would know a little bit more how to write for his assignments. So we did the same thing last summer, but this time just for cursive. He practices his alphabet and some short words, and he'll probably be doing handwriting practice, not in all of his assignments, but probably just for a little bit of cursive practice in the morning and probably as his final draft in his assignments in his writing book. For writing and grammar, we are using Voyages in English, and this is the second grade version. We used the first grade last year, and I like this curriculum because it has both the writing and the grammar in one. I didn't have to pick up two different curriculums for this, so it was, not having to lesson plan two different curriculums. And it's pretty open and go. You really don't even need the teacher's manual. I just like having it on hand for, those days where you can't think straight and even the simplest question is just, not coming to mind. So I like having it on hand even though we don't use it every day. Mostly we just work straight out of his workbook. And I picked this also because, if I can find a good page, it is colorful, and I just wanted something that was at least a little bit visually appealing since grammar is not the most exciting subject for a lot of kids. So I wanted something that at least looked nice when we were doing it. And what was the deciding factor for me for picking this curriculum over some other curriculums was it uses the same type of handwriting that I've been teaching my son, the modern manuscript. So I like that it has in the examples showing him how to write it in the same way that I'm teaching him how to write it. I knew that if I had something that was using ball and stick in the examples that it would be a distraction and a little bit frustrating for him to then tell him, well, it's showing you in ball and stick, but I want you to write it this way. So I like that this is consistent with what we're doing for within handwriting itself. We pair that usually with some brain pop videos, and we also have word fun. And we used this a little bit last year. We'll probably use it more this year as we do more parts of speech. And it just has some short stories for all the different parts of speech. Excuse me. And last year when we were doing our Voyages in English, a lot of times on their writing assignments, he would sometimes have a little bit of trouble coming up with new ideas, and sometimes it would turn into a meltdown. So I wanted something that would help him kind of get his creative juices going, but didn't require a whole lot of writing. So I didn't want to do journaling since it would require more writing for him probably. So instead I picked up A Year in My Life, Be Creative Every Day. And as it says right here, it has 365 scribble and write activities. He started this yesterday. So yesterday's assignment was, imagine that this morning you woke up on a different planet. Draw yourself and all the amazing things you would see. So he drew this, and he told me a short little story on it. And there is some writing, like on this one there's going to be a little bit of writing, but it's mostly just pictures and just kind of just, as I said, getting the creative juices going. And I think this will really help out once we come to writing assignments, and he'll already have somewhat of an idea of what he wants to write about. And if he gets stuck and can't come up with something, we can probably look through this book and say, well, maybe you can, just elaborate on this thing that you drew about here. And hopefully this will help out with our writing assignments. For phonics, we are finishing up All About Reading Level 4. We started this towards the end of last year. We're not too far into it, so we'll finish this up this year. He started at about 3 years old with level 1, and we've just been working our way through. We've been very fortunate with our phonics program. I know a lot of people try a lot of different programs before they find the right one. This is the first one we've tried. It's worked out very well for both him and for both Tony and I. It tells you exactly what to do as the teacher, even when you're done with, when you finish the stories, it tells you what questions to ask the kids to see if they've been understanding it. And it comes with the learning activity book for the students. And we tear out the pages, and it has different activities. It also has some reading practice in here, and he just works his way through this. So by the end of the year, this will be completely empty because we'll have torn out all the pages throughout the year. It came with these 2 reading books, and as you can see, we've started this one. I like the reading books here because the illustrations, they're detailed, but they're not colorful. So it adds to the story without distracting with, bright colors, and he can focus more on the reading itself. From the same company, we have All About Spelling, Level 2. We started Level 1 last year, and we're going to be doing Level 2 this year. It's the same type of thing, tells you exactly what to do, exactly what to say. It also uses the same letter tile, so I didn't have to buy any new letter tiles for this. And he likes seeing in the word list how many he gets right. He actually doesn't like using the tiles too much. He would rather write it out. I don't know if it's just the whole searching for it that he's not into, but he'd rather, I know it in my head, so he would rather just use pencil and paper in order to write it down. The All About Spelling, it came with this pack, the student pack, and it has these cards that I still have yet to take apart, but they're all perforated, so it won't take too long. All the cards for him to work through, and a progress chart, and he'll just put a sticker on each one that he finishes. And by the end of the curriculum, he'll get this certificate. So if you haven't figured out, we really like All About Learning Press. It's worked out very well for us. So this year we are adding All About Homophones. And this is for grades 1 through 8. So we'll probably be using this a little bit throughout the next couple of years. And we haven't started this one yet. It's going to be pretty much, I guess more like a segue between taking us from spelling and into vocabulary, since we haven't done a formal vocabulary program yet. We'll, in a couple of weeks, probably be adding Wordly Wise. I'm looking at that one, leaning towards doing that. But we're going to start out with the first grade and second grade word list in here. And it just has small assignments for the kids to do. And they're working on telling the difference between the different homophones. Ooh, I forgot to show you this. This went along with our writing and grammar. I picked up these at one of our local stores at H-E-B, Story Cubes. and just little cubes in here, and you roll them and come up with different stories for all the little pictures on that. So moving on to reading comprehension, we have Flash Kids Reading Comprehension Grade 2. And just like the math book, they have short lessons, and they're, shouldn't take too terribly long. We'll probably do this on Wednesdays when we come back from our library homeschool class. So when we want to do something, but we don't want to do something that's too long since we've already been out during the day. So we'll probably do this after that. And it's colorful just like the other one, very short, and comes with a certificate at the end and 2 pages of stickers. We also have, for reading comprehension, this is I guess a little bit more detailed, which we'll do on days that we're home more favorites, comprehension guide, and all the questions go along with these stories right here, which I'll show you soon. We've been working through this. We did the kindergarten favorites, and then we did first favorites, volume 1 and volume 2. And it has questions for the kids to answer. We probably actually won't write these out. We'll probably do this orally because he already has so much writing practice and all the other stuff I just showed you, and he probably won't like adding extra. So I'm just really looking for if he's paying attention to the stories as opposed to, making him write all day long. And this also has some short, I don't know if I can find any, short activities for the kids to do. There's less activities in this version than there were in previous versions for the younger kids. For a little bit more reading practice, we have Colin's Treasure House Anthology 3, and we'll probably do this more towards the end of the year because the stories are a little bit longer, a little bit more, the language is a little bit harder, I guess, and I'm not sure if I'm going to buy this comprehension guide that goes along with it, but we might pick that up towards the end of the year if I decide to do it. But we'll probably already have enough for reading comprehension. For reading practice, we have McRuffy Press, 2nd grade reading and phonics, phonics readers, and we don't use the McRuffy curriculum. We have just been using their readers. And this came with, I think there's 28 of these. I'm not going to count them right now, but there's a bunch of them. And he's really liked these. He likes seeing all the little things that the characters in here get into. And it's the same characters that he's been seeing throughout the year, so he likes seeing what they're getting up to this year. And they're really silly stories, so great for the younger years. So to go along with our more favorites that I just showed you, we have some storybooks, and I think in here is some books that I picked out myself, but most of these are that go along with the more favorites. We have My Father's Dragon, Now We Are Six, Horrible Harry in Room 2B, Owls in the Family, The Boxcar Children, and this I will probably try to find an audiobook on it. I already saw this at the library, so hopefully when we are scheduled to do this, the audiobook will be available. So, or if not, I mean, I can just read it. We have Encyclopedia Brown, Dinosaur Cove, The 100 Dresses, Sarah Plain and Tall, and lastly we have Mouse Soup. So we will try to work our way through all of this year, and like I said, we'll also be listening to some stories for literature on both Storynori and Lit2Go, which I will, like I said, link below, because we have really enjoyed those, especially Storynori. That is our favorite audio website. They have a British accent on that one, so I don't know, it just adds to it. We really like that one. Well, that is it for all of our language arts, and I will be back soon with our electives video. So thanks for checking this video out from Hidden Library Homeschool. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. Bye!